We have just made it to beautiful Bergen. Reed is dropping off the car. We're just gonna walk around and then meet Reed at the train station that he's supposed to get off in. We told him he needs to get off at Byparken. Let's see if he does.
He has no cell service.
He has no cell service, so he's on his own.
Now Reed was taking his sweet time returning the car, so we had a lot of time to pretty much take a full walking tour of the city. We walked towards the Torgall Menningen area that had the sailor monument, which was pretty cool. We also stopped at this theater that had a nice garden in front of the entrance. There was also some really nice flowers from here leading up to the Ole Bulls Plass. We also walked all over Byparken, which was a really nice park. Lots of good people watching and scenery. Also, this was the tram stop that Reed was supposed to meet us at, but once we realized it was gonna be a while, we also went to Matt Holland. Lots of enticing window shopping, but fairly touristy prices, so it was pretty pricey. Now over on this side of the water, there were some good views of the colored houses of the Bergen area, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We'll check that out tomorrow, but for now, there was an outdoor market right outside the Matt Holland area. Also pretty touristy, but being around so much food did make us quite peckish, so we settled for a reindeer sausage.
We're at Tre Kroneren. We got the reindeer sausage right here. It's got some fried onions, lingonberry, and some mustard. One bite, everybody knows the rules. It's a little tough. We're pretty good. 6-8.
Ooh, ouch.
7-3. 7-3.
We eventually did meet up with Reed, had some Italian for dinner, and of course he wanted in on the reindeer sausage hype.
All right, what do we have here?
Number 7. Not that different from a bratwurst. I hate to say it.
Rating?
I mean, it's good. It's like an 8.
Damn, okay.
The next day was our one and only full day in Bergen. It was also Bosco's last day. We went on a hunt for some coffee before Bosco had to leave for the airport.
All right, this is day 2 of Bergen, also known as Bosco's last day. We'll do Rosenthorn of the Fjords. This is what it is for the
Rosenfjords, definitely the Grand Fjord Hotel, view off the balcony,
The bar.
the sauna right there, breakfast. It's very classy, great hotel, great views. Can't complain. I'd say like the drive back yesterday, like it was cloudy most of it, which was kind of disappointing. And it was just long. It was kind of unavoidable. Like the views are still amazing, but it was just long.
Any last words?
You know, fun Oslo.
Will do.
And so begins Reed's and I's walking tour of Bergen. Now we focus in the area north of the water, so different area than the way we walked yesterday. We started off with a hike up to this old fire station, a part of Mount Floyen. We opted to do this instead of taking the Floyen funicular, nor hiking all the way up to the peak of Mount Floyen, as we heard getting to the fire station had some pretty good views in itself. Afterwards, we headed west, where we enjoyed a nice stroll through the local neighborhoods and appreciated the local Norwegian architecture.
No collar.
We then headed to Bergenhus Fortress, where on the way we actually stumbled on a different fortress. Now, this other smaller fortress has seen many battles during its day, been rebuilt and destroyed a couple times, but in present day isn't really operable at all. From what I understand, the military still uses it for training and schools and things like that, but it was still a nice area to check out.
We're currently on top of the fortress. As you can see behind me, there's some really good views of the neighborhoods we just walked through.
Back the way we came.
Bergen Live. Heading to the Rosencrantz Tower. You can barely see it over the trees.
Now, the two buildings you can visit at Bergenhus Fortress was one, the Rosencrantz Tower, which was a residential tower for the royal family, and two, Haakons Hall, which was a large hall event space that hosted many royal weddings and coronations and things like that. It was definitely worth a visit to go in, and you were able to read up on quite a bit of Norwegian history, so that was nice as well. Also, the grounds of the fortress as a whole was really pleasant to walk around. We then headed back to the Bergen area where we pretty much went through every alleyway of the colored houses, and it was pretty incredible to see. It was awesome seeing how they restored all the integral structure of the houses, even though all the businesses and stores were pretty modern out front. The next day started with a pretty lengthy train ride, 7 hours almost. Although some of the views were pretty nice at point, in hindsight, we definitely should have considered just taking a flight, as it would have saved us some time and also some comfort.
I'm currently on the train here with Reed. We are on our way to Oslo. There's been some pretty stunning views. Today is pretty rainy, so I think once we get to Oslo, we're gonna have a big wellness day. What's in store for us?
I think the hotel has a gym, sauna, cold plunge, things of that nature. Yeah, we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, and then we have a cool dinner booked, hopefully, for 5:30. So I think we're gonna get there, hopefully be able to check in, eat lunch pretty quick, do a little wellness day, and then head to dinner. And then maybe walk around a little bit after dinner because we're pretty close to the opera house and such. So we'll see what we get up to. Just made it to a hotel room. Pretty nice hotel. We're staying right in the center of the city, pretty close to the opera house, right by the central station. Pretty nice and spacious bathroom. Probably the most spacious bathroom we've had all trip. Rainfall shower head. Here's the main bedroom. Here's the balcony. Then in the distance, you can see the Oslo Opera House. Pretty cool.
After this, we headed to our Michelin star dinner. They greeted us and led us up to this lounge where the amuse-bouches were served. We started off with smoked shrimps, oysters, clipfish, dashi, and then wild salmon, squid ink, cauliflower, and lastly, aged beef, turnips, truffle. We went to Bar Amor, which was a 1 Michelin star restaurant. The reason it was so hard to find is because the restaurant room used to be a brothel, also hence the name Bar Amor. Carlos de Medeiros is the head chef, and the dishes had very subtle but impactful influences of Portuguese cuisine. The main dining room felt very intimate, had a lot of cool things to look at, including a very good view of the kitchen itself. We had a scallop, blackcurrant, and horseradish dish. Then came the king crab, almond, pine shoot dish. The dishes were so elegantly presented and described. They all had very thorough backstories, thought, and intentions with each stroke of the dish.
So gentlemen, we carry on with a dish which is a little homage to what we do in Portugal. So we have something called cuttlefish in Portugal, which is kind of like a squid, but normally a bit faster and thicker. We just breadcrumb it and fry it, and finish with a little drizzle of lemon on top. So we don't have squid in Norway, so the next best thing we have is cuttlefish. Squid. So we've taken it, we slice it very thinly so we can cook it very quickly so it becomes still soft and not chewy. And then we serve it with an emulsion of toasted bread instead of the breadcrumbs on the outside. And then instead of the lemon squeeze, we have preserved lemon gel, lemons we've taken from Portugal last winter.
To continue, we had wild salmon elderflower. Then came the best dish of the night, duck with the season's first Jurel chanterelle mushrooms and 2 types of cherries, preserved and grilled. The duck was so succulent and the flavors were so impactful. It was amazing. For dessert, we had hazelnut caviar, blackcurrant sorbet, then a berry spruce yogurt. To clean our palates was a quinoa miso square and a carob cake served on these beautiful Portuguese tiles. What an incredible experience and definitely some of the best food I've ever had. The staff was incredibly friendly as well.
Well guys, we have just finished our dinner at Bar Amor. Pretty incredible. Wonderful flavors of sea and of ocean and land, inspired by Portugal, where the head chef is from. Now we are walking back to our hotel, doing a little tour of Gruner Loka, this area of the city, especially now since it's pretty nice and not raining anymore. Yeah. It is currently our final day here in Oslo and final day of the trip, final full day of the trip. I'm sitting on the hotel balcony, as you can see, Oslo Opera House right there. We got a pretty packed day today. We're gonna go get breakfast, but then we have another sauna swim in the fjord session at 10. And then we have this coffee place that I've been dying to try since I've heard it on the Coffee Club podcast so often. And then afterwards, we will be walking around the city, checking out some cool ceramic studios, shops, thrift stores, things like that. As well as just trying to get as good of a walking tour of Oslo as we can before finding dinner somewhere. And then we have an early flight tomorrow. And yeah, just bittersweet conclusion to the trip, but it should be a really good day ahead of us.
So before we headed to our sauna cold plunge, which was right over here, we decided to check out the Oslo Opera House. Now you're able to pretty much walk all around the Opera House and even to the top. Here are some fun facts about the Opera House itself. It's home to the Norwegian Opera and Ballet. The main auditorium seats around 1,300 people with 2 other rooms seating between 200 and 400 people. The exterior is made of marble from Carrara, Italy. And also, most importantly, it is the site of Ben and Adam's victory in the Schengen Showdown season of Jetlag the Game. In all seriousness, it was quite the architectural feat to see in person, and definitely made for a good view during our sauna cold plunge. Next, we went to Tim Wendelbo, a coffee place. Now, I've heard all about this place on the Coffee Club podcast, which is actually a running podcast, but the hosts, Ollie, Morgan, and George rave about it, and it definitely lived up to the hype. It's a place that definitely highlights the roast and the bean, rather than being a full-service cafe. They're very particular with their limited menu, and they are very focused on their ratios. They definitely won't cater to their guests. When you're there, you're really there to enjoy the coffee and its notes. It was really good and highly recommended to anyone in the area that is into coffee. We then returned to the busy shopping area of Karl Johans Gate. We pretty much walked all over this area, making a stop at the Royal Palace, the City Hall, and then headed to Aker Brygge for lunch. We also stumbled upon this quasi-FIFA event and enjoyed a bit of the festivities. However, this is when things kind of started going south. After Aker Brygge, we made our way to the Bergenhus Fortress, which was one of the main attractions of Oslo, and it looked really cool, had a lot of cool buildings, but it was hard to enjoy because it started raining, pouring actually. So we pretty much endured the rain for as long as we could, seeing whatever things we were able to see with our wet clothes, and then eventually started running back towards the hotel. And we pretty much spent the rest of the evening in our hotel where things were dry.
All right, we are back at the hotel room. It's been a long day. It started absolutely pouring while we were walking around in the fortress. So we just hustled back to the hotel, but made it back just in time for the Ohio State-Texas game. So I was able to watch a little bit of that. And that is where we're going to conclude the vlog. It'll be a pretty early morning for me tomorrow. I think we're just going to go get dinner. Oslo was really great. I think it is a lot better of a city than people give it credit for. I think online a lot of people like to hate on Oslo and people say that it's the worst of the capitals of Scandinavia. But today I think like the Grünerløkka area is a really nice neighborhood, had some really cool stores, great coffee shops, and the Oslo Opera House is pretty stunning to look at. Our sauna, which I didn't film at all, was facing the Oslo Opera House, and it was a really nice view to have. The Aker Brygge area is pretty busy. There's a lot of people there. But I think in general, I really like the city. It was really great to walk around, and I think one day is enough to walk around the whole city. But overall, it was a really good time. Definitely a little pricey, but so is every major city. Rose of Oslo, I'd give it to Tim Wendelboe Coffee. We went this morning and it lived up to the hype. It was really good. Probably one of the best coffees I've had in my life. Soren of Oslo, definitely just the rain. I mean, we got pretty lucky the entire trip that this is the first time it's been really rainy. But even with that in mind, the rain still does kind of suck to deal with. But it is nice that we're in a pretty nice hotel, so it doesn't make it too bad. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.